Alright, hey guys, so today I have some good and some bad news to share with y'all. So we will start with the bad news. So even though I'm out hiking right now, I'm not actually on the Appalachian Trail, and I think that I'm done with the Appalachian Trail for this year. Well, let me clarify. I think I'm done with my Thru-Hike attempt for this year. I'm not done with the Appalachian Trail. I don't think I'll ever be done with the Appalachian Trail, honestly. So the video you all saw yesterday was my last day on the trail, and that was probably like 10 days ago now at this point, so I've been back home for a little bit. I always like to keep a delay between like where I'm hiking and when my videos are actually posted, and that's mainly just for safety reasons. And also, editing a video every single day, it's hard work, it's a lot. So it also just gives me a little bit more time to do that. Okay, so there are many reasons why I decided to be done with my Appalachian Trail Thru-Hike for this year. The biggest reason was I really just feel like I wasn't getting the experience that I wanted from the hike. And when a lot of people Thru-Hike the Appalachian Trail, their main goal is to finish the trail no matter what it takes. So for me, I really do want to finish the trail, and I will finish the trail one day, like for sure. I'm not just hiking the trail to say I've completed it, but I also want to enjoy it. So the memories I've made on trail, they are amazing. They are some of the best memories that I've made in my entire life. Gosh, it's really hard to figure out how to try to word this. But I got to the point where like, I don't think I was enjoying the trail as much as I should be. And that was mainly caused by a multitude of different factors. So I started my Thru-Hike this year on February 15th, which is really early in the hiker season. When I started the trail, I had backpacked a fair amount before, never by myself, and I had never taken on anything like this big. So when I started the trail, I was pretty anxious. I was pretty close to home in the beginning, so I ended up coming home a fair amount, which made it really hard to like get into the trail life and build those relationships with the other hikers around me. I felt like every time I got really comfortable with a group of people, something would happen. I would go home for a couple days, and then when I came back, of course, they moved on. So that is like completely my fault, and I accept that. And I know that when I hike in the future, I will not do that. Once I got to somewhere between Hot Springs and Damascus, I don't remember the exact mile or where it happened, I broke my tooth. So I ended up having to go to the dentist 3 times over the course of probably like a month and a half. So that slowed me down a lot, and of course I really had like no way of knowing that was going to happen. But I had to get it fixed. There was no like, oh well, maybe I'll just wait till I'm done with the trail. No, I needed to get that tooth fixed and taken care of. So I got that fixed, got back out on trail, kept moving north, and was having like a blast. I really loved the people that I was hiking around. I think I liked hiking around them so much that I actually tried pushing more miles than I probably should have. I'm not 100% sure if it's because I was pushing more miles or just because I have like a muscle imbalance, but I ended up getting gluteal tendonitis and also IT band syndrome. So I was in pretty bad pain. Like, it took me, I think, a month or a month and a half for that entirely to heal up. And during that month, that was really hard for me. The first couple weeks, I was like, I have to get back to the trail right now. I don't have time to waste. I need to be on trail. I'm just gonna go and work through this pain. But the physical therapist was like, no, you can't do that. You're just gonna make it worse, and you could do like permanent damage if you do that. So the longer I went to physical therapy and stayed off trail, the harder it was for me to come back. So I did ultimately decide to come back, which most of you guys already know all this. I'm just recapping in case there's anybody who hasn't been following along the whole time. But I decided to go back to trail. I wasn't sure if I was going to be on trail for a week, a month, get to Harper's Ferry, and go home. But when I came back, things were just kind of different than they had been before. So the bubble pretty much mostly moved out. So it was a much more solo experience. Wasn't many people around, and not only did I not like that, because I like to hike by myself, but I like to camp with other people, but I also didn't feel that safe, and it just it wasn't the experience that I wanted. I want to be around people, I want to make friends, and I want to see the same people that I saw on the approach trail like months later. Also, I don't think I was used to the heat from the summer, so I pretty much went from not really hiking much at home while I was in physical therapy. And last time I was on trail, it was spring, and then getting back out on trail in the middle of summer, super hot out. And of course, where I got back on trail, there was a lack of water. So while I was in physical therapy, I also talked to the therapist about some shoulder pain that my Hyperlight backpack was giving me. And he recommended that I switch to my Osprey backpack, which is a backpack that I've had for a couple years now, just because he said it would get the weight off your shoulders and more onto your hips. So I did that, and the bag absolutely killed my hips. I was already like not sure how my hip injury was gonna do after physical therapy anyways, but adding the weight and the pressure from that bag just made it so much worse. I know in my last trail videos I was talking about getting my Hyperlight back, so Josh actually did mail it to me, and we picked it up the day that he came and got me. And that definitely would have fixed the hip pain issue, but I was still having shoulder pain too. So, I mean, it would have fixed the issue that I think would have, you know, caused more long-term damage, but it was still really uncomfortable for me, and not really fun to carry that bag either. So also my window to make it to Katahdin before Katahdin closed was also getting really small. So I needed to hike about 100 miles a week, which isn't horrible, but it's still a fair amount. So that first week I was back on trail, I ended up doing 93 miles, but most of that was slack packing, so I wasn't even carrying like all my stuff. And then that second week where I got off, I was probably on track to do like 90 miles or so. So I probably could have made it to Katahdin on time if I wanted to, but it was just stressful, and I'm not doing this to stress myself out with miles. Many people have suggested that I flip north and hike south, or just leapfrog further ahead. That way I can make it to Katahdin on time. And I really did think about that. So that night that you guys saw yesterday where I was in the hotel room, I was literally like, maybe I should skip up to Shenandoah. Maybe I should go even further than that. But there's also like the factor of money. So I have been working while I'm on the trail, and that's really helped me a lot. And I just think like for me personally, and everybody's preference on this is different, but for me personally, I'd feel better if I started with more money in my account than I did this year. So yeah, sorry for rambling on. That is a lot of different excuses for why I got off the trail. And I say excuses, but they're not really excuses. I think they're valid points. And like I said, I'm hiking the trail because I love it and I want to enjoy it. And all those things put together were just making it stressful for me to hike. And honestly, I felt like at any point my hip was going to give out and I was just going to be back in physical therapy again, which is no fun. All right, so we got the bad news out of the way. Now it is time for the good news. So at this point, I am like 95% sure that I will be attempting the Appalachian Trail again next year. And I'm sure most of you will think that I am like just crazy for this, but I want to start at Springer Mountain instead of where I got off. So I know it sounds crazy, but I want to do those 700 miles over again. And there's a couple different reasons for that. So one, I like pretty much have loved, well, not every section, almost every section I've done, and I'm just really looking forward to seeing them again. I really want to stay in the hostels that I stayed at this year. I want to see everyone who runs them again, and I don't know, I just think it sounds so fun. The second reason is because I got off trail so much this year. I just want to have like a more fluid through-hike experience. And yeah, that's pretty much it. My main reasons for wanting to start over are mainly just because I want to. So I do need to make sure that a thru-hike next year makes sense both logistically and financially and for my relationship that I'm in, because you know, when you're in a relationship, it's give and take and you have to be fair. So once I know for sure that that is what is happening, I'll probably make another announcement video for next year, but that's probably not going to be sometime until later in the fall. If that doesn't seem like it's going to work out, then my plan for next year is to hike southbound starting at Katahdin, and I know that hiking southbound is significantly harder than hiking northbound. And I'll either end at McAfee Knob, which is pretty much right where I got off this year, or I'll just be crazy and I'll do the 700 miles again and end at Springer. So I think deciding to hike again next year has really helped me because I've not really been like feeling down or upset or anything since I've been off trail. I've been pretty confident in my decision. And just with everything going on, I know that it was the right decision. And I think I'm just looking forward to next year so much that, I don't know, I honestly feel more excited about getting off trail and trying again next year than I feel like sad for getting off trail. This also gives me a really good chance to work on myself both physically and mentally before going back out on trail next year. So I've been going to the gym pretty much every day since I've been home because thru-hiking is really hard. It gets you in really good shape, and there's no way that I want to lose like that fitness level that I got from hiking. I'm sure I'll lose some of it, but I'm gonna try not to. I've been working a lot on my hip because I know it's not 100%, but the good thing is that now I have quite a bit of time to make sure that next year I'm all ready and good to go. As far as the mental preparation goes, I know what to expect now. It's tough. It's really hard mentally. I don't know how to exactly get better at that yet, so that's something I'm going to try to figure out. I also have time to find a backpack that works for me and that I really love. So I actually really like the Hyperlight backpack. I love the roll top. I love that it's made of Dyneema, so it's so tough. It has a lot of space on the inside, and I like the front pockets a lot too. But I can't deal with the shoulder pain. And I'm going to work on strengthening my shoulders too, so hopefully next year that type of thing is not as big of a problem. But I just can't do that bag. I definitely cannot do the Osprey. I don't think I'll ever hike with the Osprey again, to be honest. It's been like 10 days and my hips are still like pretty raw and like dry. But yeah, so if you guys have backpack recommendations, I would really love to hear them. Right now I'm kind of looking at ULA, Waymark gear, and Gossamer gear backpacks. The only bad thing is that you can't really like try them on before you buy them. You just have to order them and hope for the best. They are expensive, but I'll probably go ahead and order one of those soon, and I'll probably make a video on it so that you guys can see what I think of it. I also know that for next year I need a warmer quilt. So this year I carried a 20-degree synthetic enlightened equipment quilt. If any of you guys remember, I had to get a fleece liner in the Smokies because I was getting pretty cold at night. So it may sound excessive, but I want to get a 0-degree down quilt for next year. So yeah, I'll mainly be looking for some new gear, trying to stay in shape as best as possible, working on myself as much as I can, and saving as much money as possible. I really hope that you guys aren't too upset that I got off trail. You all in the comments have been so supportive. I remember when I started my hike, there were like a couple people who were a little bit negative in the comments, but ever since then, y'all who have stuck around have just been so awesome. You guys don't even know how many times I was like having a really bad day or just not really feeling like hiking anymore, and you guys' comments just really made me feel so much better. So I'm really sorry if you guys are disappointed that I decided to get off trail, but the good news is that if you like my videos, I will be back next year. So I'm not done, I'm not going anywhere. I actually want to work on getting even better at filming videos and editing them. So hopefully even next year, the video quality is like a lot better. I think I'm gonna take a little bit of a break for probably the rest of July, but I have some other really fun backpacking trips planned for this year. So I think a friend and I are probably gonna do the Foothills Trail, and then I'm gonna do some trips on the AT around here. Like I said earlier, I'm also gonna do lots of gear reviews and probably talk about things just with the Appalachian Trail a little bit more, like maybe just some things that, you know, I think I could have done better, or things that I learned. But yeah, I think that's about it. I think at this point I'm just kind of rambling on. So I will get this video posted today, and I will see you guys later. Bye.